Okay, enjoy.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to try to step down and not move that side because that is a bit of a problem. So my name is Didier, I live in Belgium and I work for a small organization which is called IVGC. Some of you may have heard of the organization. I think most of you are students for the AP school in Antwerp, right? Because one of your teachers is walking around over here and we know her very well. Oh, she's sitting there actually. Hi, Anne. And we know her pretty well. And we have some good collaboration with AP. But anyway, I'm going to talk to you about PDF a little bit and some evolutions in PDF standardization, because we're working for a long time already with PDF and there are some evolutions you as young people need to know. Because I'm a little bit longer in the industry, sadly enough, or still, which means I'm not so young anymore. But anyway, this is the organization I'm working for, IVGC. We're in Turnhout in the old military facilities, so really big buildings, deep, thick walls, and we do consulting, events, and also training sessions on PDF, for instance. That's me actually working, doing something. That's what you see over here. Doesn't happen much, but at least they took a picture of it. That's the organization I'm working for. We're also an active member of Ghent Workgroup. So we're not only sitting down on chairs, we're also talking in these working groups, and we are responsible for checking all the pre-flight applications. And Acrobat is one of the tools in which you have pre-flight. So we check those tools to see if they do all the Ghent Workgroup things properly. Okay, so that is what we do, or what I do within IVGC. I talk also a lot about PDF, of course. But before moving to PDF standards, let me just take you a little bit back into time, because PDF is not invented last year. No, it's invented, and this is going to sound really long time ago for you guys, but it's been invented more than 20 years ago. So when I was at your age, PDF was hot. Today it's a little bit less hot. Nevertheless, there are still a lot of things going on over there. That picture is taken from what movie? Back to the Future, thank you. So at least that's from when I was still young. And then the next question is, do you any of the people that are standing on this picture? The picture is from 1983 or 84. Color imaging was already invented, so is it just because it is a black and white picture? It's not because they had not invented color photographic at the time. But let me start with the guy in the middle. What kind of computers are you all using? Apple. This guy is Steve Jobs in his younger years when he still had hair. So this is at 1983. This is at the time when he first invented, or did not invent, when he first pronounced the Apple Macintosh. You can find movies on YouTube. He's almost going in tears when he's presenting to the crowd the first Apple Macintosh, because he puts in a floppy disk and the computer starts talking. Wow. And that was really revolutionary at that time. But he's also talking to two different other guys. And if I first said Apple and we're talking about PDF, then who would the other guys be? It's the inventors of Adobe. So you have both in one picture, one single picture. There's a lot of money standing there, okay? It's the inventor of Apple, who is not amongst us anymore. And then the other guys are still living, by the way, but they're at the age of 70 almost. It's John Warnock and Steve Jobs. Remember those names? No, not Steve Jobs. John Warnock and Chuck Geschke, sorry. But it's the two inventors of Adobe. And they first started with making this. And it looks more or less like the earlier session, what you can do in Illustrator. You have anchor points and you have lines in between. But that originally was invented for creating PostScript. Who remembers PostScript? You don't, yeah, in the back. If you're 40 years or older, you do remember PostScript. If you're 40 or less, you had nothing to do with PostScript. But PostScript, it was invented before PDF. And the only thing you could do with PostScript was send some design from that first computer to the printer. That's it. It sounds a little bit stupid now, but that was innovation in 1983. You also had a computer mouse. Wow. New in 1983, you had a not too expensive printer, which could print really sharp images and also line work. And in order to do that, and that's why Steve Jobs met the other guys from Adobe, you needed PostScript, going back to the vector-like stuff, in order to print fonts really sharp on any scale. So it would always be crisp and sharp, and that was pretty new and first invented in PostScript, building this first Apple Macintosh in order to print something really crispy from the first Apple Macintosh to the printer. But yet again, this is 1983, 1984, it's some time ago. So in the meantime, some things changed. We invented something which was called the internet. I experienced this evolution, okay? You didn't. You were born with the internet anyway. But PDF really took off because there's a lot of things published on the internet using PDF. And PDF is of course small file size and so on. So because of the internet, PDF really took off. And then if you go to a trade show, and this is at Drupa, most of you have been to Drupa last year? You didn't as a student? Okay. Anyway, this was at Drupa, but most of the things on this picture are actually printed. But you don't have to go to Drupa, just go to the Canon booth next to over here. 99% of the things, the flooring, the walls, the sheets, the whatever, the textiles, they're all printed. And that is pretty new. This was not possible 20 years ago. But all the designs created to print this probably started from a design and of course a PDF file. Okay, we need PDF in order to do all these things. Same for this. Here you have the motorcycles, car wrapping or motorcycle wrapping, I don't know. It all starts from a design, converted to PDF, and then printed on any kind of substrate. Unboxing. I didn't know the word, but today with you guys, unboxing is almost as important as what you're actually bought. So on the YouTube, you can all find all these movies on unboxing a certain thing. But the design of the box as such, the packaging has become almost as important as what's inside the box itself. In order to make that, you need beautiful designs and of course tools, and PDF is one of them, to produce that actual packaging design. So PDF is still and still more and more important because we're doing all these new kind of things and you need a carrier, something to make that. Starting from design to the actual creation of a packaging design, a car wrap, and that is PDF still. So PDF is still today really important. It's good that we have PDF, but there's one little problem. These are the details, which I'm not going to talk with you about in detail. But in the years, and it started off like 2000 or even before, there's many versions of PDF. If you go into InDesign and you go to export, you can see PDF 1.3, 1.4, 1. Whatever. There's a lot of different choices you can make, but there's only one or two good choices. And that's the big problem with PDF. It's a good file format, but you have too many options, too many things that can go wrong. Transparency. You probably are learning about transparency effects. Really nice in InDesign, but how do I put it into PDF so it comes out of the printer correctly? Do I need to flatten the transparency? Do I need to keep live transparency? A lot of discussions on those things. So one size, sadly enough, does not fit all. And this also applies to PDF. It's not enough to just ask your customer or just deliver a PDF file. No, it should be a specific sort of PDF file that the printer understands. To make sure that whatever you design comes out right out of the printing device. So what they did, and this is not a recent study, but they do this study every for a couple of years. There's always the same problems. They did the first time this study in 2001. This is from 2012, and they recently did one in 2016. We did learn nothing, which is really great. So the same problems from now already applied 20 years ago, which is images with too low resolution. You've heard that probably in your lessons too, even at the presentation before. Images need to be quality images. You can't rely on very low images or image resolution, and the list goes on. Fonts is also a big problem. Fonts need to be inside the PDF file. If they're not inside, it's going to look ugly. That's at least one definition. Image resolution, I only inserted one example. The left-hand side, unless you deliberately wanted to make it like that, is not okay, especially if the customer or you are expecting sharp, crisp images. You need image resolution which is high enough. Now, how do you make sure that that is all fine inside a PDF file? Are you going to go through all the images and check them manually? No. There is one single solution that can resolve most of the problems after you created the PDF file. Anyone who knows how the tool is called, or the technology. How can you check a PDF file? You do that with pre-flighting. Thank you. So this is what this is a technical solution. So you make it, first you make a design, then you make a PDF file, and then you check the PDF file to see if everything inside that PDF file is okay. And how do you do that? It's a piece of technology which is called pre-flight. And it comes actually from the aviation, so the airplanes, Zaventem over here, airplanes coming over. What you do want to know is that the pilot checked all the things, that there is kerosene in the plane, that the wings are still stable before it takes off, not afterwards. So that's exactly the same what you do with a PDF file. You check the file before you send it to someone else, okay? And that's a piece of technology which is called pre-flight. We've actually made something. And you may know the 8 reasons why you need pre-flight. I've been told by Anne that at least that name should ring a bell. It's a digital file, just a single PDF file design that we made. And there's 8 really big problems or things that are not okay inside that document. It's a PDF file. And you need pre-flight in order to see them all, really to check them all. It looks like this. We're standing over there, and there's also a booth of the Ghent workgroup. You can take a poster with you, so it's all free. And it's actually on paper, so great. But the actual goal is a digital file. Okay, so you can also open this as a PDF file, and the whole idea is that you try to find the 9 big problems in this file. The big issue is that visually it's hardly impossible to find them within 10 to 15 seconds. But if you use something which is called pre-flight and it's built in Acrobat, just Google it, pre-flight Acrobat, you will find it. It will give you a perfect overview of all the technical problems with this file. For instance, RGB is being used in this particular PDF. Not every printer likes RGB. The fonts over here are not embedded in this PDF file. That's a problem, okay? And so these are only 2, but there are actually 9 really big issues with this file. That's why it doesn't look that great, because there's 9 problems in it. But there's also the poster. You can also find it on the Ghent Workgroup booth. And I will go after this presentation to there, so you can take your own poster. So this is a piece of technology that helps you find all these problems without investing much time or effort. And it's called pre-flight. And it gives you an overview like this. So you see all the problems, and one of them, I try to mark it, is font not embedded. So it actually tells you that there is something wrong with that piece of text inside the PDF file. It will even point you to the particular piece of text where the problem is, because otherwise you have to go through all the text. You don't have to do that. Just click the problem and you will know what is wrong. And then you can go back to your design, fix the problem, create a new PDF, and everything is fine. Okay? So that is why pre-flight is invented. If you've not learned about this, please check this file and pre-flighting as such. There's also one big problem, same with PDF. You have many PDF flavors, but what PDF should I actually choose? And what pre-flight profile shall I choose? Okay, now we're going to a little bit more technical, because there is different versions of PDF. You have PDF as such, but there's also PDFX. Anyone heard about PDFX before? Yes? I hope. So out of InDesign, you can actually see that. If you go to export and you open the menu, you will see PDFX 1A, PDFX 4, PDFX 3. So even with PDFX, you have different flavors. But the X, anyone knows where the X stands for in PDFX? In the back? Exchange, like extraordinary or extra large, you can all apply, but it's actually exchange. And exchange meaning you design something that needs to go to the printer, you have to exchange that file. So that's why they invented PDFX. It's a different flavor of PDF that makes sure that at least a number of things are correct. And one of the things is that fonts are always embedded in a valid PDFX file. Wow, that problem solved, okay? So if you check a PDF file with a PDFX pre-flight profile, and it gives a green mark, fonts will always be embedded. That ensures you that that problem is at least not a problem anymore. Okay? There's also a H, that's for healthcare, really nice, not for us. There's always an E, PDF E for engineering, for 3D images and so on, really nice, not for us. And you have different other flavors that I'm not going to talk with you about, but please remember the X, PDFX, that's what you're going to be needing if you're sending something to a printer. all right? And this is the really technical overview. Even within PDFX, you have different flavors. Like I said, if you go to InDesign, you will see PDFX 1a, PDFX 3, PDFX 4. Please remember that PDFX 1a is the old stuff. It was invented in 2001. I don't know, again, your age, but it's a long time ago. But again, printers are also still using PDFX 1a a lot. Transparency is always flattened in a PDFX 1a file. You will never find RGB images inside a PDFX 1a file. If you need transparency and you want RGB images, you will need to move to something more modern. You don't want to use PDFX 1a, you will have to go down to a higher number, and that is PDFX 4. So remember, two standards. One is PDFX 1a. It's what printers still ask a lot today, because everything is CMYK, transparency is flattened, they don't have to worry about it, okay? PDFX 4 is what we're going to see in the future. If you're going to print digitally on the Canon devices or some other devices over here, you can use RGB images because they usually can print really nice crispy images. Then you need RGB images, but you cannot use PDFX 1a, so you will need something which is more modern, and that is PDFX 4. Just select it out of InDesign and you can create with one single step a good PDFX 4 file. Always pre-flight afterwards, but it's not so difficult as a designer. The challenge is at the printer side, get it out right, and all the transparency effects as such. And the last thing I want to give you or to tell you today in this small presentation is what the Ghent workgroup did. I hope. Who did not hear about the Ghent workgroup before? Most of you did, because you have the PDFX standards, but Ghent workgroup, and Ghent is actually really in Ghent. It's been invented in Ghent already some time ago. People sat around the table, said PDFX is great, but we're missing something. I can give you a valid PDFX 1a file, PDFX 4 file, doesn't really matter, and the images will really look terrible. All images will be 20 pixels per inch. That's great for PDFX. It doesn't give any problems. So you need additional checks on top of PDFX to really make sure that everything will come out right. And that's why Ghent workgroup said, okay, PDFX is good because fonts are embedded. But still, there's a lot of files coming in with really low images, really low image quality. So we need additional checks. What they did is they got beyond PDFX. That is what I'm trying to explain in the bottom. Beyond PDFX, they invented checks like low image resolution. That's what they did on top of PDFX. And they also made different pre-flight profiles for different market segments to make it even more difficult. Because a magazine ad is not the same as something that is digitally going to be printed on a digital device. It's not the same as when you're sending a flyer or a brochure to a sheet-fed offset printer. Okay, so that's why if you go to Acrobat or to Pitstop, you will see Sheet, CMYK, Huppel the Pup, magazine ads. Do these names tell you or say something? That's the Ghent workgroup. That's what they did. They took PDFX 1a or PDFX 4 and made different pre-flight profiles for all the different market segments. So if you need to send a flyer or a brochure or this particular poster to a printer, make sure that it's been pre-flighted with Sheet, CMYK and something else, 1v4 or whatever. Because Sheet CMYK actually means this is aimed to be printed on a sheet-fed offset printing machine, and CMYK means all content inside is only CMYK, right? And that's how they tried to build a logic in naming convention and make different pre-flight profiles for different market segments. The magazine ads example, an ad is always one page. It's a single thing that goes inside a magazine. So one restriction in magazine ads says it can only be one page and the page cannot be blank, because that would be stupid. An ad with nothing on is probably not going to generate a lot of leads. Okay, so that's what Ghent workgroup did. They looked at the standards, PDFX standards, and they built something on top, because they found that not everything is covered by PDFX. And this is a single overview. So the low image resolution, if you check something with a PDFX pre-flight profile, you will never get an error message on the fact that there is really low quality images inside. If you use Sheet, CMYK and something else, you will actually get an error if images are below 150 pixels per inch. So that's why you need these pre-flight profiles. And the list goes on. So as I said, and even within the Ghent workgroup now, that's really the last thing I want to tell you. If the old standards, the Ghent workgroup pre-flight profiles based on PDFX 1a, And there's also a new set of pre-flight profiles, and you may gonna learn about it. Are you last year students or no, second year? So next year you're going to learn all about GWG 2015. It looks old, but it's actually new. Okay, so the 2015 is brand sparkling new. Okay, that's the first Ghent workup standard based on PDFX4. Remember, live transparency, RGB images. So they changed the underlying PDFX standard from the old PDFX1A to PDFX4. So for the first time, you can check with sheet, CMYK, and whatever with live transparency and RGB images. Okay. Please try to remember some of it, GWG 2015, and especially the old stuff, which is going to disappear over the years. Okay, so GWG 2015 looks old, is brand new. Okay, it's really important. And they actually have two variants, but I'm going to leave you with that. So to summarize more or less, at the bottom you have PDF as such, what I explained in the beginning. You can even have videos inside a PDF file, hyperlinks. None of that is useful if you're going to print it. You don't want to print a movie. I wouldn't even know how to print a movie. It's going to be pretty difficult, okay? So you don't want to have movies inside a PDF file. PDF is really good. You can put everything in it. It's too big, okay? No movies. On top of that, a little bit more restrictive is PDFX, and I explained PDFX1A, the older guy, and PDFX4. That already ensures that fonts are embedded. Is that enough? Depends, probably not. I can give you a valid PDFX file with really low image resolution, not okay. So that is why Ghent Workgroup, so we're moving up, okay, Ghent Workgroup, that a little bit higher, is more restrictive. You will have additional checks on image resolution, for instance, on spot calls and so on. So you need the sheet CMYK, Huppel the pre-flight profiles, right? And then on top, you never want to have that. If you're going to graduate, end up as a designer, doesn't matter where, and some printer tells you, but you need to use my pre-flight profile, try to convince them to not do that and use the Ghent Workgroup, whatever pre-flight profile, okay? But no printer-specific pre-flight profile is never such a good idea. It's going to be hard to explain the printer why you had to do it, but you can come to us, to VIGC, in order to convince the printer to do that, all right? Let's agree on that. That's all I wanted to talk with you about. I hope you will remember some of it after you leave and watch all the cars. Most of you are girls, you're not interested in the cars, I hope, but you still can get a poster, okay? I'm going to finish actually within 5 seconds instead of 5 minutes, 2 minutes, all right? So you can get a poster over there. It's the 9 reasons why you need pre-flight. It's the printed version. You actually need the digital version, but it's nice to have it. Anyway, so resources, there are a number of nice resources. This is a really important one. GWG.org, so the Ghent Workgroup website. I actually forgot our own website, which is vigc.be. Also check that website, by the way. But specifically on PDF standards, you can use this one. The Ghent Workgroup website, there's some interesting resources on that one. This is a Dutch website made by our Dutch friends, which is called printarena.nl, all right? You can find some interesting information on that too. So they translated some of this stuff in Dutch. It's in Dutch. You will see that it's written by Dutch people, not by Flemish people. Anyway, it's still more or less understandable what they're trying to say, right? And the third one is Middelbel Plus. That's it if you're ever in the future would end up in the magazines, making magazines, but only magazine ads, right? Then you go to this page. So this is the biggest website with all the information. This is the Dutch version of that same, more or less, website. And the last one is Middelbel Plus if you're into magazine ads and newspaper ads, right? Thank you for listening, for staying over here. Please take a poster between now and some time. And listen to my colleague, because my colleague is coming up next, right? And it's fun. It's going to talk to you about color. Glad I don't have to do that, because that's more complicated than PDF.